Hola mis estudiantes. Today we're going to review las comparaciones or comparisons in Spanish. Now this might be a concept that you haven't reviewed since Spanish 1, so I think it's more or less just syntax or word structure and vocabulary really than anything. So your notes are pretty blank, and so you are more than welcome to just write. I think going over as many examples as we can is probably going to be the best way for us to get familiar and get comfortable with our comparisons. So you can write down the examples that you need. If you feel like you have a good grasp of it, then there's no reason to write down more than you have to. So with that, let's get started. So when we've got unequal comparisons, or we're making comparisons of things that are not equal, we've got our más or menos que. So, for example, if I want to say más obviously means more, menos is less. And then you can include either an adjective or an adverb or a noun. So I want you to make sure that you take a moment and think about what those pieces of grammar are. What's an adjective, what's an adverb, and what's a noun. And I give you an example of all three of those. So, for example, soy más inteligente que los otros alumnos. Very nice sentence. I am more intelligent than other students. Again, inteligente is an adjective. We can also use, if I wanted to say I'm prettier than the other students, since I'm a girl, soy más bonita que los otros alumnos. So our agreement for that adjective is going to be that first subject. Number 2, another example. Ella estudia más frecuentemente que su hermana. She studies more frequently than her sister. Again, that's a verb. So ella estudia más frecuentemente que su hermana. And then finally, número 3, yo tengo menos estudiantes que la señora Rosales. I don't know why that la is in blue. It shouldn't be. So I have more students than Señora Rosales. Again, estudiantes in this case is a noun. So we're going to have that más or menos, and then whatever word, and then the word que. I didn't do a very good job of I didn't use my words very well right there, but we're just going to go with it. Alright, so when we have those two words together, we're going to be using a verb. So like más que, menos que. So for example, yo estudio menos que otros estudiantes. I study less than other students. Or, me gustan los perros más que los gatos. So whenever we're using a verb, we're going to put those two phrases together. And then, just a little minor difference, we're going to use menos de, or más de and menos de with numbers instead of the word que. So, hay menos de 30 estudiantes en clase hoy. There are less than 30 students left in class. Or in class today, excuse me. So if you said, hay menos que 30 estudiantes en clase hoy, would someone know what it is that you're saying? Probably, but it just isn't grammatically correct. So we're going to use the de when we're talking about specific numbers. Alright, so then we've got some other unequal comparison phrases, and I'm just going to click through all of those. So we've got mayor que, which is older than. Esteban es mayor que Carlos. Menor que then is obviously going to be younger than. Julian es menor que Alicia. Mejor que, better than. And peor que, worse than. So again, la clase de español es mejor que la clase de francés, claro. Las serpientes juegan peor que los patos. So again, just vocab there. Alright, so then we've got equal comparisons. Things that are this. Hello, sticky note. Things are the same. So we're going to use the word tan como if we're making an equal comparison with an adjective or an adverb. Yo soy tan inteligente como mi hermana. Or again, yo soy tan bonita como mi hermana. Again, don't forget that we have to have that agreement. If we said nosotros somos tan bonitas como mi hermana, again, we have to have that agreement. Mi padre conduce tan lentamente como mi abuela. My dad drives as slow as my grandma. And then if we're talking about nouns, if we're talking about items, then we have to, that tanto has to agree. So since, for example, in looking at that example, hay tantas sillas como estudiantes, we're talking about sillas, right? So we're going to use the word tantas so it agrees. And then tanto como is when we're going to use with the verb. So you might want to add that, or an action. So you might want to add that in your notes. So bailo tanto como ella. I dance as much as she does, or as much as her. So we're going to use the phrase always tanto como. It's not going to change at all. With verbs, with nouns, again, and that makes sense because we have to have that agreement. So tantas sillas. And then our tan como is with either adjectives or adverbs. So I want you to write 5 comparisons in Spanish using different phrases on the back of your notes, and that's really where we're going to start your review. So make sure that you write 5 comparison phrases in Spanish in order to get your credit for your notes. I'm going to ask that you get that done, and if you have any questions, make sure that you come to class ready to ask them. Gracias. Adios.